Be Frank!
Welcome to Let's Be Frank, the weekly podcast that gives a quick take on U.S. stocks from the perspective of a value investor. I'm Brian Frank, a professional investor with over 20 years' experience specializing in small and mid-cap value stocks. Every week, I'll cover what is working, what isn't working, and talk about the value we're finding on the hunting trail. Find out more at frankfunds.com. Now let's get to it. Today is Friday, July 24th, 2026, and momentum stocks bookended the week with two tough days. The middle 3 days were what I call a back-to-normal recovery rally, which may rope momentum investors into thinking the rally is back on, but then the bottom fell out again today on Friday. Last week, I talked about losing more than 100% in a stock by throwing good money after bad. That certainly could be shaping up in momentum, which seems to be in a correction at the moment. What worked in value? Defense contractors had a great week, bolstered unfortunately by another flare-up in the Middle East conflict, but also by encouraging earnings reports from Booz Allen, ticker BAH. Additionally, the House passed a $1.1 trillion military spending bill, but it remains to be seen if it will go through the Senate. Regardless, defense contractors bounced significantly this week, hopefully putting the lows for 2026 behind them. What didn't work? Buying the dip worked as a trade, but certainly did not work if you held the whole week. Google's earnings report announced a capex increase for 2026, but also failed to ignite excitement as investors were getting worried about hyperscaler debt and long-term off-balance sheet guarantees for data center spending. Although AI picks and shovels initially liked more spending from Google, perhaps investors are seeing how unsustainable the spending could be if hyperscalers are cut off from more financing. I am happy to sit on the sidelines on these themes. Next up is on the hunting trail for value. I found an interesting IPO to research this week, and no, it was not Spacex. Especially when markets become more volatile, IPOs can break down quickly and trade below their IPO price. I found a smaller company that appears to be high quality and profitable, but it lacks the support of index buyers. Most of the time, when insiders like the founder own high percentages of the stock, the indices cannot buy a high percentage as normal. This is because indices are constructed by how much float or readily available stock is in the market. Insider shares are excluded from float. In my opinion, this is an opportunity because I don't have to compete with large-scale index buying and I get exposure to a company run by a founder with skin in the game. Wrapping up, investors trying to buy the momentum dip were burned today. I expect lots more attempts from dip buyers, but for now the AI story seems to be breaking down. Value had another good week, and earnings reports are showing the supporting fundamentals behind this success. Thanks for listening.
Performance data quoted represents past performance and does not guarantee future results. The investment return and principal value of an investment will fluctuate so that an investor's shares, when redeemed, may be worth more or less than their original cost. Current performance may be lower or higher than the performance data quoted. You may obtain performance data current to the most recent month end by calling the Frank Value Fund at 1-888-217-5426 or visiting our website at frankfunds.com. Returns include reinvestment of any dividends and capital gain distributions. Non-FDIC insured, may lose value, no bank guarantee. The fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses must be considered carefully before investing. The prospectus contains this and other important information about the fund, and it may be obtained by calling 1-888-217-5426. Please read it carefully before you invest or send money. This publication does not constitute an offer or solicitation of any transaction in any securities. Any recommendation contained herein may not be suitable for all investors. Information contained in this publication has been obtained from sources we believe to be reliable, but cannot be guaranteed. The information in this publication represents the opinions of the individual portfolio manager and is not intended to be a forecast of future events, a guarantee of future results, or investment advice. Also, please note that any discussion of the fund's holdings, the fund's performance, and the portfolio manager's views are as of the recording date and are subject to change without notice.